Thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up. Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
That it most certainly is. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the latest and greatest edition of the Brian Snow Show. Want to get in contact with us? Drop an email to the Brian Snow Show at gmail.com. Got a great guest for you. Wize El Jefe, a.k.a. Will Otero, will join me. Now, I want to argue with somebody that argues with me. You know, it's the same kind of guy that argues that LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, and we know that to be a falsehood. Same guy that argues that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and we know that's a falsehood. Lawrence Taylor says so, a Hall of Famer, and Hall of Fame sportscaster Mike Francesa says so himself. Take a listen. Bingo. You heard that, right? You heard that, right? He is not the best regular season quarterback that ever was. Peyton Manning is. And he's not the best Super Bowl quarterback there ever was. Joe Montana is. That's from the Sports Pulp of New York, Mike Francesa, who retired a few years ago. Just pay attention, will you please? You know, these Bradyites want to get after me. Oh, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever. No, he's not. He's the most accomplished. And just because you played the longest doesn't mean you're the best. Okay? Let me say that again. Just because you have played the longest, I'm looking at you, LeBron James, doesn't mean that you're the best ever. And it never will mean that. You heard Mike Francesa's argument, and there really isn't one, about who he thought the best regular season quarterback was. He said it was Peyton Manning. And Also, you heard his argument about who the best Super Bowl quarterback was. That would be Joe Montana. And to this certain troll, that's Mr. Montana to you. That is Mr. Montana to you. Mr. Montana has 2 goose eggs in his Super Bowl resume. And they are 2 of the most important, if not the most important, goose eggs in his Super Bowl resume. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. I want these Bradyites to pay attention. Just pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. Because unlike, I'll say it again. Unlike some of these other sports talk shows that don't use any facts, I do. And the 2 facts I'm going to give you are these. Number 1, Montana never lost a Super Bowl. 4-0. Same with Terry Bradshaw. And number 2, unlike Bradshaw, unlike Brady, unlike Favre, unlike Rodgers, he never threw a Super Bowl interception. 0 losses, 0 Super Bowl interceptions. Hell, for the longest time until Kurt Warner came along, Montana held the record for the most passing yards in a Super Bowl game. A victory, by the way. And in recent times, in an article I read this morning on Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, his jersey sale for 2 of the most iconic Super Bowls ever, 19 in the duel against Marino, and 23 where he took him down the field and stuck it in the end zone to John Taylor, who should be a Hall of Famer, by the way. Stuck it in the end zone to John Taylor with 34 seconds left. You know how much that jersey sold for? $1.2 million. Let me say that again. A Montana jersey at auction that he wore for 2 Super Bowls obliterated the market as it sold for $1.2 million buccarinis. That should tell you what Joe Montana means to the quarterback position. I'll tell you, a linebacker who used to terrorize Montana, the great Lawrence Taylor, the legendary Lawrence Taylor, says Joe Montana is the greatest. For the simplest of reasons, and listen carefully, Bradyites, Tom Brady has all the rules in his favor. All of them. Don't like that, do you? Don't want to admit that, do you? You know something about Tom Brady? Were it not for a rule that was used once and then abused for 3 years, we would never know who the hell Tom Brady was. Of course, I'm talking about the Tuck rule, which actually wasn't a Tuck rule. Of course, I'm talking about the 2001 playoffs played in the snow against the Oakland Raiders. Brady was stripped clean. Clean! He was stripped clean. And they called a Tuck rule. Why? You can look at the replays and research it for yourself. He got stripped clean by Charles Woodson. And Greg Beekert fell on the ball. Should have been a fumble. Recovery by the Raiders. They go down, run out the clock, and that's that. And that's that. Every rule change since then has benefited Tom Brady. Let me say that again, Bradyites. Every rule change in favor of the offense has benefited Tom Brady. You know when Joe Montana played? In a real era of football where a linebacker can knock the daylights out of you. And believe me, I said it this morning, Joe Montana played 15 injury-riddled seasons. 15 of them. Hell, he missed almost 2 years with the injury when he was knocked out of the NFC Championship game by Leonard Marshall. And I'm willing to argue that had Leonard Marshall not knocked him out, there would have been the first three-peat. Had Roger Craig not fumbled the ball later in the game, that would have been the first three-peat. And a three-peat's going to happen. And I believe it will happen with my favorite team, but that's a story for another time. We would never know who the hell Tom Brady is were it not for an obscure rule that got used and abused and launched his career. The same way he got launched in New England in the last game at Sullivan Stadium. The last game. At least the hit on Joe Montana by Leonard Marshall was clean. And if there was ever a team that gave the 49ers the blues, it was the New York Football Giants coached by Bill Parcells. And Bill Parcells played a lot of chess. And in turn, Bill Belichick plays checkers. I said it. And I mean it. Bill Belichick plays checkers. He just leaned on Tom Brady for as long as he could. And were it not for Russell Wilson making a stupid decision at the 1-yard line, we wouldn't even be having part of this conversation. But all the ifs and what ifs can go out the window. The fact of the matter is Tom Brady is the most accomplished quarterback to ever play the game. I mean, 22 years in the most high-profile position. The numbers are there. The footage is there. Come on, you can't argue that. And only one major injury, and he bounced back from that. Give you that. But the greatest quarterback of all time? Not even close. Not even close. He threw for 505 yards in the Super Bowl. What happened in that game? What happened in that game? That's what I thought. He took a massive loss in that game. That one. 3 times Tom Brady lost Super Bowls. 42, 46, and 52. You can't erase that. Each one of those games, he's turned the ball over. You can't erase that. You can't erase the fact that Tom Brady on the biggest stage has choked. Oh, I'll say it again, and I'll say it slowly. You cannot erase the fact that on 3 occasions in the month of February, when Tom Brady was expected to be greatness, Tom Brady choked. Twice against Eli Manning and once to a backup by the name of Nick Foles. Once to a backup by the name of Nick Foles. You understand me? Nick Foles threw for 379 yards in Super Bowl 52, outdueled Tom Brady, and the Eagles even beat the Patriots on a play that the Patriots unveiled first, but the Eagles ran perfectly. That, of course, is Philly. A throwback to the quarterback. Oh, which prompts this. Tom Brady can't catch. Because if he could, he'd have caught that one. And that was a first down and then some. But Brady couldn't lock it in, which is why he played quarterback and not receiver. It's not his fault that the Eagles perfected the play. And James White said, they hit us with our stuff. You're darn tootin'. Only time they ran it in the Super Bowl, and it worked, and it extended the lead. I will say it again very slowly. 3 times Tom Brady played in February, 3 times he failed. Now, to use Cole Johnson's logic, and thank you, Cole, for this, that's a passing rate, 70% passing rate. But then you got Joe Montana, who was 4-0 in Super Bowls. That's a perfect score to me. I'd rather take that than losing 3 times on the biggest stage, called the Super Bowl. Oh, and a uniform that Montana hasn't worn in such a long time obliterated a recent uniform that Tom Brady wore in terms of auction sales. The uniform that Brady wore sold for $480,000. The uniform Montana wore twice, $1.2 million. And the same company authored the auction and sold the jerseys. So watch your mouth when you're talking about Joe Montana. Wize Jefe is next. This is the Brian Snow Show. The thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, home of Southern Sports and Talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes 1 free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, you may qualify for a free continuous glucose monitor system. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM systems can automatically manage your diabetes better for you. And by using a CGM system, you can eliminate forever one thing most people with diabetes hate the most: finger sticks. Now it's possible to manage your diabetes better, end the painful finger sticks, and get a new CGM monitoring system at little or no cost to you. We even provide in-home delivery and do all the insurance paperwork for you. Now is the best time to manage your diabetes better and get your continuous glucose monitor. Call now for details. 800-897-0014. 800-897-0014. 800-897-0014. That's 800-897-0014. Paid for by U.S. Med.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
We roll along here on the Brian Snow Show, and thanks to y'all for joining us this afternoon. No batting, full of coffee with a fresh haircut. Number 420, Wize Jefe. Number 420. What's up, Wize?
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Nah, it's
Screen went black.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to fix it.
Did Bryson touch the buttons again?
No, he didn't touch no button.
How are you, my friend? Great to have you.
I am well, brother. I am well.
This is a fellow I met while I was still living in North Carolina through a person that shall remain faceless and nameless.
Nameless, yes. We
as
don't want to
you
give him.
eloquently said this morning. But Wize and I have been brothers since that day we met. And the first time I did an interview with him, my wife said, "Do you know what questions are you going to ask him?" No. Do you know Wize and I talked for over an hour?
Oh yeah, we did. Did we?
I mean, I had set that we were going to play it regularly. Okay, it's going to be 15, 20 minutes out the door. Nope. Talk for an hour. Talk for a full hour, and that's every time that's every time we've hooked up.
Yes.
So thank you, man, for being a friend, being a brother.
I can honestly say you're one of my closest friends. You and Cole are two of my best friends in the business. Actually, in life period, the relationships we've built together, and so it's my pleasure to be on your show, man. Especially when you say you're gonna have the Brian Snow show. So I was like, all right,
yes, I finally pulled the trigger and put my name on a show and am getting it out there. All right, man. One of my favorite shows to tune into, the Stuck in My Mind podcast. The name alone caught my attention. And that was one of the first things we had talked about when we did our very first interview.
Yeah.
So tell the folks the story about the Stuck in My Mind podcast.
I have been wanting to start a podcast in 2019, and me and a friend were actually going to start a sports podcast, and it didn't work out. Him and his girl got pregnant. They had a child, and when you have kids, life kind of
life kind of takes over.
Yeah. So I had a Behringer studio that I had purchased on Amazon for $160. So I had the equipment at home.
Yes.
And I would mess around with it, delete, mess around with it, delete, mess around with it, delete. And it was because every time I record, I'm like, oh no, it don't sound good. I was stuck in my own mind. I was stuck in my head, and I didn't know what to do. So then fast forward to 2020, I get furloughed from my job in March. That's when the world stopped with COVID and everything. I get furloughed. Me and my nephew Poppy J, that's my partner in crime. We just here chitting. We just here talking on the phone, chilling and everything. And this is before we had Zoom, StreamYard or any of that.
Yeah,
talking to him on the phone, and I didn't have the proper hookups for the phone to the mixer. So what I did was I held the phone to the mic, and we did the introductory episode to Stuck in My Mind. And he was like, "Oh no, we can't release it. We gotta wait till we're polished." And I'm like, "Nah, we're gonna release this because I want people to see where we started at to where we're at now." And that's how Stuck in My Mind started.
I love the title of that podcast. I absolutely love that title. In fact, let a little cat out of the bag. I'm gonna work with a friend and try and distribute it over the air, like stations are picking this show up. And let me say hello to all the folks listening on WQEE, the heartbeat of Atlanta, 99.1 FM. Man, people just don't know, when you make friendships in this business, they go a long, long way, to the point where you now join Cole and I on our morning show at least twice a week, pending your schedule.
Yeah, Thursdays and Fridays, since I'm off from the day job, I'm able to come through. And then there's occasions that I leave work early and I get to come home and I get to be a part of the show. But Thursdays and Fridays are really the days that I get to be a part of the show. And then actually that's what inspired me to go live, because Stuck in My Mind was first audio. And then I transitioned. I still got my audio version, but then I also transitioned now to video. And that was based on a guest that I had that was like, "So do you do video?" And I'm like, "No, not yet. I'm not ready." Asked me again. "No, I'm not ready yet." And then the third time they asked me, this is all during the same episode. This is also
right.
And I go, "You know what? Yes, I do video now." And I press record, and that was my first video podcast. And then I did that for about a year or so. And then last year, I transitioned to live because I had been doing live with you guys the days that I was doing since. Okay, so so Snowman, when Snowman got sick and he was battling cancer last year, you asked me, hey, would you like to co-host the show with me and my partner Cole? And I'm like, well, I can do it on my days off. I can be a part of it, which was Monday at that time. So I started off on Mondays, and then the job switched my days off, and I went to Thursdays and Fridays. And it was an honor for you to ask me to be a co-host. It was like, man, my brother really has faith in me, because you're like, man, I got to go under the knife. I'm going to be gone. I really don't want Cole to be by himself. Right. And I'm like, I'm honored, bro. I'm like, I was blown away that you would even consider me for that position.
Well, I couldn't consider anybody else, just like I couldn't consider Cole to be a partner and be executive producer of the morning show. And when I was going under the knife, I couldn't think of two brothers I trust more with the product than you and Cole. And when I was resting in the hospital and later on at home, you guys just blew it away. I mean, I knew in my heart I made the right choice when I asked you to be a part of the morning show. Whenever you could, it just seems perfect. It just seemed perfect.
Yeah. Well, from it it's some great relationships have flourished from it. Like my relationship with the BS Street Network flourished from that. My relationship with Cole, who we have a show now called Mentality, that relationship has flourished. The NFC Beast, I wouldn't have that project, which includes members of our audience on Snowman in the Morning.
Yep.
And so it was like so much has come from accepting your offer to be a co-host. And I just look at it like I'm blessed, man, just to be able to surround myself around people that share my vision, that are like-minded. And it's just been a great ride, man.
Wize El Jefe joining us here on this edition of the Brian Snow Show. We're going to pause for a break, pay some bills, and when we come back, more of the Wize El Jefe story, including some things that, well, we're just going to make you laugh out loud. This is the Brian Snow Show.
WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, home of Southern sports and talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin.
Hey, Braves fans, I'm Mac McGee with Braves Country. We'll be right here on The Key all year long, giving you Braves Country baseball, pitch by pitch, inning by inning of your Atlanta Braves. Make sure to catch Braves Country right here on The Key. We go live 3 to 5. And we'll keep you up to date on the upcoming schedule for Braves Country. That's Braves Country HD and Braves Country baseball right here on The Key.
So this thing called sports, it has fans again. It has full stadiums, full arenas, and more. And you want to be a part of it, don't you? Of course you do. If you begin to scour the resale market, there will be tickets available. And what you need to get those tickets that you want so badly is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the app available to you that lends a hand in helping you get the tickets that you want for the events that you want. SeatGeek rates the tickets on a 1 to 10 scale, and the best part is the tickets are vetted for authenticity, so you know what you are getting and you know you are not getting scammed. And now you can save even more by using the code SNOWMAN and getting $20 off with your very first purchase. Yes, you can do all of that with the power of SeatGeek, helping you get to the games that you want, so you fans can fan. So let's all fan.
Now, I'm known as the guy who can fix just about anything, but the technology in most appliances requires very special training to fix. And that's why my family has Choice Home Warranty.
Choice Home Warranty covers over 25 major home systems and appliances. That's your AC, heating, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and so much more.
Call Choice Home Warranty now before something breaks down.
Get protection for your heating, AC, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and more.
Call 800-973-6121.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
a project and you're feeling it unexpand, well, I have the feeling about this show. Welcome back to this edition of the Brian Snow Show, joined by my brother, Wize El Jefe, and not just a sports fan either, but in life. Let me tell you that when I went under the knife for my surgery with cancer, I got to tell you, I was scared. I was scared. But it took Wize and Cole, my beautiful wife Jody, and my children to say, you know what, we got you. We got you. We know what you do. We know what you do. We love what you do. We miss you doing it, but you got to get healthy first. And that's my wife's message to me every day. And when I asked Wize to be a part of Snowman in the Morning, it just seemed from one grandpa to another. He just seemed like he put his arms around me, and my dad was there, and he just said, get healthy. We got you. And April 4th last year, went under the knife, and as of 3 weeks ago, now I'm in remission, and I'm so happy to be joining you guys every morning. I'm really thrilled when you come on, because the show's already it's a sports-based show, yes, but it's already off the rails. And then when you come on, it's even more off the rails. But you know what? That's the most grand part of having you on the show with us, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. I really do. It's like I told you, man. It's my honor to be on the show. I've learned so much in the time that I've been doing the show with you and Cole, that like I said, it inspired me to do my show live now. So I do Stuck in My Mind live 3 days a week, and that's because of you guys and because of the audience members that frequent Snowman in the Morning. That they're just amazing. So that inspired me to really go out there and make the audience a part of my show.
Speaking of the audience, let's go to the feedback zone. All of our feedback zones on Snowman Multimedia, sponsored by Fanatics. I wonder who this is.
That's my man, Mike Spedden. Yes, I know him by another name as well, but
yeah, big time Orioles fan. Yes. And Mike's gonna come on with me on March the 6th. We're just gonna figure out a time. The Hawk TV joins us from Atlanta. We're stronger together than we are apart. Ain't that the truth? Love seeing fruits of the labor, and then he decides to throw you under the bus.
No, he's trolling because he know.
Oh, I know.
He know I'm not a LeBron fan. Listen, okay, let's get this right. Let's get this straight,
please.
I do not hate LeBron. Let's that's first of all. I'm saying, but I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. My favorite players are Knicks. I have nothing against LeBron,
such as Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing, yes, and now Jalen Brunson is my favorite Knick right now.
I've loved Patrick Ewing since his days at Georgetown.
Oh yeah,
when he wore the undershirt underneath his uniform, and it's like he was my first favorite college player. You know, the second one, he wore number 23 in that same game, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But that's just part of the era that did it for me. Because my very first favorite professional NBA player was Julius Erving.
Dr. J, yeah. Yes. So, okay, so yes, he's one of my favorite Knicks, but you would be amazed at who is my favorite Knick all time.
Try me.
Allen Houston.
I can dig that.
Allen Houston is my favorite Knick of all time.
He's one of mine.
When he came over from Detroit, I was so excited, so happy.
And he brought so much to the Knicks.
Oh, he was one of the best players in franchise histories.
My other favorite Knick of all time is Bernard King.
He's the one who made me fall in love with the Knicks.
I know it.
Patrick. I love Patrick, but
Bernard King first
was the one who made me fall in love with the Knicks.
See, Bernard King is one of the small forwards that used to give Julius Erving the blues whenever they hooked up in a game or in a playoff series. Another, of course, is Larry Bird, and then James Worthy after him. But like I said, Julius Erving made me fall in love with the NBA. And then I saw Bernard King shoot the basketball. 6'7" forward out of Tennessee. Dude.
Had it not been for those knee injuries, oh my God, who knows?
Man, who knows how long he would have played?
Yeah. Who knows what him and Patrick would have been doing together?
Yep, because he played, 12 seasons in the NBA? I think he played 12 seasons. And like you said, were it not for those knee injuries and then them shipping him off to the Bullets,
Yeah.
had he stayed a Knick, who knows what
where the franchise would have been. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Gerald Wilkins and Charles Oakley and
because
Patrick
then you added Mark Jackson.
Then you added Mark Jackson.
You added Rod Strickland.
Mm-hmm.
So you added some players, man. So it was not meant to be, but he's the one who really made me fall in love with the Knicks.
Mike, again from Foul Players Radio, as we dip back inside the feedback zone. Ewing, I love those Hoyas and Maryland Terps from those days. Man, the first, besides the championship in '82 against North Carolina, the first regular season game that I watched with Georgetown, the first two, the next season when they went out to play UNLV, when they broke open the Thomas and Mack Center, and then they played Virginia at the Capitol Center, and it was Ewing against Ralph Sampson.
Two of the best in college basketball history.
And they televised. It was a cable game because it was on TBS, but they televised it on network television. That was a rarity back then.
Yeah,
that was a rarity. Now that we're in the 21st century and everybody has gone to streaming services and podcasts, I really feel that we are just scratching the surface with podcasting and online radio. What are your thoughts on that?
Podcast is the thing right now. It's the thing right now. Listen, people talk about all the 2 million podcasts that were started during the pandemic, right?
Yes.
But if you look at numbers right now, there's probably 250,000 active podcasters.
Yep.
So there's plenty of opportunities in this field and this realm, and I'm just excited to be a part of it, man. Just to be able to, I love it so much because of the relationships I've been able to build, and the opportunity it has allowed me to really find my creative side and find my passion and find the thing I love to do, which is sit down here, talk, have some great conversations with people, and just learn.
You've had some great guests on your program. Absolutely phenomenal guests on your program, which is why I'm addicted to Stuck in My Mind. And the one thing that your podcast has allowed me and taught me to do, well, two things. One, be consistent, and two, be passionate about what you do. And I can't tell you even a few of my favorites because there are so many that I go back and listen to. But man, I got to throw you some more flowers. I mean, you, my friend, have really gotten in my head about the presentation, about being consistent, and then just loving what you do. Just off your title, Stuck in My Mind. You can't have everything stuck in your mind. And when you, let me borrow a little wiseism here. When you push that button, you just go. You just go with it. I can't thank you enough for really sticking with me, through my blood clot fight and my cancer fight and the move from North Carolina back to Indiana, because you were one of the first to get a hold of me and say, "Hey, when you getting back on air, man?" And that was at the time that we had moved from North Carolina up here to.
That was before I knew what was going on with you and everything.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't tell that many people that I got hit with pancreatic cancer because I was so distraught and I was so depressed. But when my wife got on me and said, "Look, get back behind the mic. You know you want to, you know you love to. I'm in your corner. Go with it." And that, when we got settled, that's when I told everybody what was going on.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, COVID knocked the hell out of any and everybody. My health took a dive because I didn't get hit COVID not once but twice. I just recently got hit with it. And thank you, Latina elderberry gummies that my wife bought me, because I was sitting here in my office, leaning back in my chair. What did you say one morning when you lean back in your chair in your office and you get that spot?
Oh, I fall asleep. I'm out.
Yep, you're out.
I'm out.
You're out.
There's times I wake up in the studio, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, I know, because this is a chair I know I'm going to have to exchange, but you find that you find that time you're working on something, and then all of a sudden your body just lulls you to sleep, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm not going to fall asleep. My body says, oh yes, you are.
Oh no,
And I'm out.
there's times I've nodded off during show. Recently, me and Poppy J, but we was recording late. I was tired.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And so I was kind of nodding off on the show, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to edit some of it out." So we tried to. But
there was one story you told me.
Okay.
I'll never forget it.
All right. So
you were waiting. You gotta tell that. You gotta tell that story.
So I was waiting in the studio for a guest, and I fell asleep. I wasn't feeling well that day.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep with the camera off, but my mic was on. So the guest could hear me snoring. And since I suffer from sleep apnea,
yes,
she was worried that I was gonna die in my sleep. And so she messages me. I wake up. I'm like, oh my God. And I apologize. She understood, but she's like, I said, yeah, I do suffer from sleep apnea, but I do sleep with a CPAP machine. So at that, of course, I wasn't sleeping with it at that time because I was at my desk. But it was funny. At first I was embarrassed, but now when I tell the story, it's funny as hell.
That's one of the funniest. You know what? At my own expense, Wize scheduled me to come on the podcast. And that afternoon, I told myself, I even set my alarm. I told myself, look, I'm due at 5 for Stuck in My Mind. I put it in my calendar. I turned my alarm on for 4:30 so I can get a half hour and get recalibrated. Not a chance. I woke up.
I messaged you. You messaged me like, yo, bro, I fell asleep, man. My bad.
I woke up. I woke up when it was 6:15.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Why is my phone beeping? Yep. Like, oh Lord. So I sent a ton of messages to Wize, and Wize just simply said, it's cool. And then like the next day or 2 days after that, you told me that story where you fell asleep.
It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah, it does.
You can't get upset over stuff like that. I've been ghost plenty of times. I don't take it personal. I never know what's going on in somebody's life, so I don't take it personal.
Yeah.
I've learned to just roll with the punches, man. I've been through too much in life to let petty, like small stuff. I don't sweat the small stuff. That's one thing my wife knows. She's like, you don't sweat nothing small, because that's what ends up killing you when you sweating the small stuff, man. When you sweating all that small stuff sweating, it's
true.
It's just so true. So I don't sweat that stuff. It happens. It's life.
And it's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it sweating the small stuff, because that was a problem of mine, sweating all the small stuff. Now, since I turned 50, please, you can reach in my bag of F's to give, and you'll find an IOU. That's how empty that sack is. Wize El Jefe joining us this afternoon on this edition of the Brian Snow Show. My brother, a pleasure. I love you. Thank you so much for coming on today, and I look forward to the time I can get back on your show also.
That's it? It's over already? Oh man.
It's rapid fire. I mean, I'd love to have an extended conversation, and we're going to do that.
It's all good, man.
We're gonna have an extended conversation. But man, thank you so much for everything, brother. I love you. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Wow, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. Let me shout out my man D Willie, who's in the chat right now. Drew Willingham.
Yeah, he is. El Fresh Cut Jefe.
Yeah. So I've had Drew and I've had Michael on the show. The only one that hasn't been on my show yet is Hawk TV. But if he coming up,
I'm gonna get Hawk up here one of these days. And a real good piece of advice: if you stay organized and disciplined, you'll never miss an event. So true. Yeah, I got 2 notebooks next to me. I got my tablet. I got both my phones, and now I'm just syncing everything just in case. Because since my surgery, I've had a horrible time sleeping.
Yeah.
And sometimes and you know this, Drew knows this, the most times I sleep, especially lately, has been in the afternoon. Yesterday, however, didn't. it was 71 degrees. It wound up being 78 degrees. So I took Lucy, hopped in my truck, and we drove around for a while.
Okay, cool.
I couldn't help that. Let's go to a break. For those that are listening via WQEE, Wize, thank you very much, brother. I love you.
Pleasure always, man. Always a pleasure to be on the show, brother. Love you.
Oh, man. Wize El Jefe joining us. One final break, and then I will walk us off on this rapid fire edition of the Brian Snow Show. Thank you very much. We'll be back.
WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. Home of Southern Sports and Talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Find us online at killingsworthrealty.com or call 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Listen to The Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, Monday through Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM The Key. If you are a sports fan in Columbus, it doesn't get any more local than the Sports Beat. We cover Columbus River Dragons, Columbus Rapids, Columbus Lions, Columbus Chattahoochee, Columbus State Cougars and Lady Cougars, and all the high school football and basketball action in the Chattahoochee Valley. If you have a sports question or would like to be a guest, you could always message me on my Twitter page or Facebook page, Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge.
Active Pest Control offers the best services and prices to protect your home, offering both monthly and quarterly pest control services, plus specific services like bedbug, German roach, and flea control. Even if you can't see them, insects are all around you 24/7. Active Pest Control wants to be the first line of defense. Active Pest Control, repair, find, best termite coverage around. Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street, Noonan, 770-954-9941.
Got mold? Call the Mold Man, specializing in crawl space and interior mold remediation, encapsulations, and basement waterproofing since 2019. The Mold Man team takes pride in keeping your family healthy and your home mold-free. Visit our website, themoldmanllc.com, to schedule a quote or give us a call at 678-227-9763.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Down the stretch we come on this Thursday edition of the Brian Snow Show. Tomorrow, you will hear a replay of a conversation I had on Snowman in the Morning with the lovely Jaylen Brown, WNBA agent and NIL consultant. You will hear that conversation in its entirety. That's tomorrow on the Brian Snow Show. Well, let me walk us out of here because we got a few minutes left in the program. And let me thank Wize El Jefe for coming on to the show this morning. Today, not only this morning, but on this afternoon. Very, very much appreciated. We're still getting the feel of when we can do this, especially with the stations, and I'm pluralizing that we are picking up that will syndicate this here program. And I want to thank Drew Willingham for a very, very important comment that he said. And I learned this today, and it's so true. If you stay organized and disciplined, you'll never miss an event. Organization and discipline. And one thing that Drew has taught me and my wife has taught me is to block time for all the projects I'm doing, because I have a horrible habit of sitting here in the office thinking I'm doing something when I'm not. And I'm going to change that. I am going to change that. I'm not going to work hard to change it. I'm just going to change it. You know, the Hawk TV, as we go back into the Fanatics feedback zone. I'm a simple guy with big plans and bigger ambitions. Chase them all, Hawk. Chase them all, and we'll all help you chase them. Get them and start chasing the next one. Organization and discipline are very, very key. And it's a lesson that I'm finally learning. And I say finally because people have told me it before, but I didn't listen. Now I am. I got 2 notebooks next to me that's probably going to grow, you know, especially when wife and I get resituated. But I can't thank y'all enough for staying in my corner. I can't thank y'all enough for just wanting to be there, cheering me on through my cancer surgery, through everything else. And some people like Victor that I've known 20 years who have continued to remain in my corner. The best thing you can say and the easiest thing you can say to someone who has been there for you and with you is thank you. It's a horrible understatement given what I've been through recently, given what my family has been through recently. It's a horrible understatement, but thank you is the best thing I can think of. It's the best thing I can think of. And y'all already know how I feel about you guys, but I don't take the time enough to express it because in a lot of ways I am some days I'm so distraught from everything that's going on. And sometimes I don't think I'm not going to get enough advertising to support my family. And you guys know how I feel about supporting my family. That is huge to me. That's absolutely large. And that is something I'm going to work very, very hard at in getting it together, getting the advertising that I need, you know, working with the stations that pick up the show. And there's a couple I'm going to contact this afternoon or tomorrow, and I got to write it down. But it's time for this to take off, and not just for me, for everyone who has tuned into the channel on YouTube at Snowman Multimedia, who is tuned in here to WQEE 99.1 FM in Atlanta, or the heartbeat of Atlanta, where we will cover the Falcons, the Braves, the Atlanta Hawks, and more. All I have to say is thank you to Chris Dietz, who comes on with me in the morning, to Cole Johnson, my executive producer for both my shows, and one of the imaging experts that I have since hired for Snowman Multimedia, Michael Lyle, man in charge of the Lyle Files, that I plan to have on very, very soon. It's just getting organized and staying organized. And there was a point in time sorry about that. There was a point in time I can honestly say that I was organized 3 years ago. But I'm nowhere close to that now, and I have to exceed that. I have no choice but to exceed that, especially now with my health improving, my eating habits improving, and everything that's going on. You know, no more excuses. No more excuses, and no more, okay, I'm going to work on it. Nah, it's in motion. There are a lot of things in motion right now. And it's to the point where I'm taking on more than I need to take on. You know, that's why a couple of the shows that I created during the fall bit the dust, and it's my fault. And it's my fault. There's nothing to say we can't reorganize them or revive them, but at the same time, with the fellows that were involved, I don't want to waste your time either. So when I get everything together, the shows that I have canceled myself will come back, but it's just a matter of me staying organized and staying disciplined. And thank you, D. Willie. Thank you, Drew Willingham, a brother that gave me that, and I am going to follow it. That'll do it for this Thursday edition of the Brian Snow Show. Want to thank y'all for joining us. Tomorrow, you hear a taped conversation from Jaylen Brown, a WNBA agent, and we'll have a whole lot more stuff. And don't forget, on Saturday on WQEE, it's the best of the Brian. It's the best of Snowman in the morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Snowman in the morning on replay is next. Thanks for tuning in. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. God bless everybody.
Thank you for tuning into The Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base, life and fun are the results.
Sharpsburg, Franklin. It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Hey, y'all. Snowman here. Catch the Brian Snow Show and Snowman in the morning right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.